You're watching Capital Connection from the Illinois State Capitol.
Representative Cam Buckner, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So you have a bill that would revamp, improve the state's name, image, and likeness bills. It's been over 2 years now since this law was officially signed. We've seen college athletics change tremendously since then. What have you realized over the past couple of years needs to change with Illinois' laws?
Yeah, the entire landscape of college sports, college athletics, and name, image, and likeness has really changed since, as you said, July of 2021, when we first got this bill signed by Governor Pritzker. And what we've seen over the last 3 years is that, we've got to put forth some policy prescriptions to catch up with what's going on. When we initially traversed down this road to make sure that college athletes in Illinois had the same rights as other folks to make money off of their name, their image, and their likeness, we assumed that the NCAA would, in short order, begin to promulgate some rules that would, make the playing field even, that would create some systemic and systematic processes. But we haven't seen that. The NCAA has remained pretty silent on NIL, asking state legislatures to do their work for them. And I think that they've been, derelict in their duty. And so here we are again, because now Illinois schools have been at a disadvantage compared to specifically other large universities around the country. And so what we learned was that we've got to allow the universities a little bit more autonomy to help our young people pick the right deals for them. What I said in committee yesterday is that when we first passed this was never just about profit and publicity. It has to be about privacy, and it has to be about protection. And we know that no one can, put in the protective parameters for our student athletes better than the universities where they are.
So right now, the way, especially it works at the University of Illinois, is there's a trust set up essentially with it's a group that helps manage these deals for the athletes, and the group isn't directly a part of the university. So this bill would allow those to still exist while also allowing the university to play middleman in some of these deals, correct?
Right. So these groups of alumni, folks and folks who are interested in athletics at a certain school are called collectives, right? And these collectives exist around the country. Here in Illinois, the two biggest ones are ICON, which is the University of Illinois affiliated collective, and I think the N Club, which is the Northwestern University affiliated collective. And what we saw was that there was just way too much daylight between what was going on the outside and what we wanted to make sure our student athletes had from a protection standpoint. And so what this bill does is it allows the universities now to be directly involved in some of these NIL deals. All of these schools, including U of I, have these NIL coordinators now within their athletic department. And so we are now better equipped, I think, as the schools around the state are, to have some streamlined processes so that we are doing this right thing. And I just want to remind folks that when we put together our NIL law, it was very stringent, very strict. We want to make sure that our young people, our student athletes, weren't endorsing products that were detrimental to their own brand, detrimental to their future. We removed the ability to endorse things like cannabis and gaming and things that we thought were a little bit too provocative, right? And so the best way that we see to maintain the spirit of that is to make sure the universities have an opportunity to be a part of what happens.
So does that change at all with this do those stringent rules that you had, do those change at all in this?
So we didn't touch the prohibited industries. We kept them there. We think it's been really good for our student athletes to shy away and stay away from those things, and we kept that in this space. We did not alter that at all.
Got it. So you had University of Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman here. He was part of crafting the original law. He's been very involved here in Springfield when things like name, image, and likeness is being tackled. And I wonder, with this specific change, was this things that you noticed, or was this something that the university came to you with and said, hey, look, this is where more protections can be put in place, or this is how we can get to that even playing field?
We trusted the universities on this because they're doing the work on the ground every day. They know the ins and outs of the NIL program and what needs to be strengthened and what needs to be changed. And so we listen to the athletic directors. And while Josh is my friend and my brother. Obviously, he's a former Illini football player like I am. He is representing not just the University of Illinois athletic program, but the 13 Division I athletic programs around this state. And I know he has had conversations with other ADs about the things that they are dealing with, and they came to a consensus on this language, which is how we got here.
I wonder, part of this also includes, along with allowing the university to play the middleman, it really puts in concrete rules around FOIAing this information, keeping that information private on how much money these student athletes are making. And I wonder, why was that important for this when we're talking about, public universities, the athletes at their universities, where every other employee at that university, you can have their salary FOIA'd?
Yeah, because the university is who's paying them. Just like my salary is FOIAble, but yours is not, right? Because I get paid by a public entity, which is the state of Illinois. These student athletes are not getting money for their athletic prowess from the University of Illinois. They have the ability now, obviously, to be remunerated for their name, image, and likeness from outside and private entities. And so if we're not able to FOIA, I'm an attorney, right? If we're not able to FOIA how much money I made on a private contractual deal through my law practice, we shouldn't be able to do that for these young people who are making money off of their own name, image, and likeness, doing things that are not directly paid for by the state university.
Is there anything, I know the amount, this would restrict all information, public information about the deals, correct? It wouldn't just be the amount of money being transferred, but the terms of the agreement as well.
Terms of the agreement, right? It keeps those under a shield, which is really status quo for all business dealings in the capitalist society that we live in.
Got it. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you was just NIL broadly as a landscape. We know all of the conversations about how it's impacting college sports, whether people feel that's good or bad in this sense. But what I've really found interesting is the amount of money that is poured in instantly into this market. The amount of money now that's being thrown around. We just heard recently Kentucky's got a new basketball coach, and within a day of him being hired, they had $4 million ready to go for NIL money. Obviously, Kentucky is a huge program in this sense, but I wonder, when we're talking about NIL, when we're talking about these college athletes being paid in this manner, do you have concerns about the stability of this long term, where these businesses maybe aren't able to keep up this kind of investment, or maybe decide that maybe they're not getting out of it what they wanted in the long run, so then future college athletes may not have access to this level of income, whereas, compared to what they're bringing into the universities again?
Yeah, I have real concerns about the stability, but not based on whether or not businesses can keep up. I think that the market will dictate what it needs to, and things will be fine. What I worry about is what seems like this new wild, wild west era of college sports, where you got NIL and the transfer portal kind of intersecting at the same time. And once again, the NCAA being derelict in their duty and not stepping up and saying, this is how we're going to run the show. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. I think there's been missed leadership at the NCAA, and hopefully that changes quickly, because as the landscape changes around us, what we're doing today is not sustainable. It's just not, but it doesn't change my mind about the fact that just like a young woman or a young man who is a member of the Marching Illini band, who may be on band scholarship, can go out and sing in a nightclub on the weekend, or go DJ on their days off and make money from it, and maybe be a model, a print model on their side and make money from it. Student athletes should be able to do the same thing, and so we got to continue to protect them and give them the ability to do that. But the NCAA is long overdue for some true leadership in this space.
I wonder, from your perspective, a former college athlete, and now current lawmaker, did you ever imagine you would be having such an impact on the way that college athletics is moving forward in Illinois? Because this has been the clear, you've really been leading the charge as directing which way these universities are going to go.
I'm really fortunate. This is a blessing to be able to take my lived experience, and apply some policy prescriptions that's helping young student athletes, not just around the state but around the country. Because with no federal law, with no NCAA policy. You know, a lot of people are looking at what states are doing it right, and I know that Illinois has been an example for a lot of folks. And so I'm humbled by that. It also, to me, is a great reminder why diversity of background is important in these spaces. This is not theoretical to me. I've lived this life, right? And so to me, it's very personal, and I appreciate having the ability to bring at least some sunlight in this conversation and try to find ways to move things forward.
All right, well, Representative Buckner, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thanks, Carl.